I'm Ken Licklider. I'm here in Denver, Indiana. I'm a retired Air Force Senior Master Sergeant. I've been in dogs for 42 and a half years. That's all I've ever done, that's all I'll ever do. I went through the military programs. In about 1993, I retired and started a kennel here in Indiana. I started in my living room. I started with an old shed out back, and it's now a 600-acre facility. We can hold over 500 dogs. We've got our own planes, trains, automobiles. People come here from all over the world. We train civilians, civilian police departments, correctional facilities. We also train Special Forces military. I was there at Lackland when everything was changing, and I actually was in charge of the kennels on Lackland Air Force Base. Vietnam had just ended, and we realized very quickly that we couldn't use the same style of training that we used in Vietnam here in peacetime, United States and abroad. So we changed our entire program from defense-oriented dogs to prey-oriented, and we discovered the Malinois. I was a very lucky guy. I was at Lackland Air Force Base, the hub, and they started their first buy trips in Europe, and I got to go. So when we went over there and bought 6 breeds, and we brought all 6 breeds back to the States, and they gave me 2 of each one at my kennel working on the base as police officers, and we got to see which ones did the best job as a dual purpose dog. Right there at the same time, we were changing from aggressive response to passive. And all of us fought it at first, we're men, we don't like to change. But I fell in love with the passive. I took it out into the civilian world. I changed a lot of it. Hunting with bird dogs, I discovered a way to duplicate what the bird dogs did, and it virtually changed the world of dogs, of the passive response dogs, to sit and stare, just like the bird dogs do. We train both dogs and handlers here at Vohne Liche, and we pre-train all of our dogs, and we do that so that they're at a certain level when the new handlers come in. We've done it so long that, to us, the training of the dog is pretty easy. They're smart, that's why we purchase them, that's why they come here. The handlers are all great people. They're volunteers for this program. They're type A personalities, which makes them tough in some ways. With the dog, there's a thing called LOP, law of primacy. And when you're training them, it has to be right from the very beginning, where we could take a guy aside and stroke his back and tell him he's doing fine, but talk him through things. When you put him with a dog, it has to happen right the first time, and that's kind of tough for some of these guys. So we always tell you, it's the handler's the tough part, but they go through the first week, and that's the toughest. We tell them in the first week, don't expect to be good, and that takes some of the pressure off of them. And by the second and third week, you see it, and you can see it in their attitudes, you can see it in the way they're reacting around the dog. But to see them take that animal, that we know that animal's going to do it, or we wouldn't present it to them. But to see that guy and know that he's going to go out there and he's going to hunt bad guys, he's going to protect people, he's going to find the explosives, he's going to find the drugs. It's a great feeling. And then they stay in touch. They send us articles, they send us pictures, they call us freaking out that they just caught a bad guy, and you can hear it in their voices. And then we save people's lives. I've had many hugs, many crying sessions with military and civilian alike. These dogs will save their lives, and they know it, and they rely on them. Some of the stories that we've been told that would just make you cry. The things that a dog has done. We just lost one here in Indiana, and the dog gave his life up for his handler. It's just amazing. Yeah, these dogs, we go through hundreds to find the one that will come here, and we did 1,000 during the war a year. They're hard to find, but they're there, and they're athletes. They're super intelligent, and we challenge them with things that aren't, we use natural things. We pair, their prey drives, their defense drives, their hunt drives. We pair that with things that we want them to do, but you got to find the right dog. And when you find the right ones, they train up pretty easily, and the things that they do for their partners over there are beyond imagination. I've fed everything that you could imagine. I've help develop dog foods out there in the United States and abroad. You know, I could get free dog food. All I'd have to do is endorse something that didn't work, and I won't do that. But Kinetic is all we feed, and we push it to everybody that we talk to. It takes care of the animal. Without the animal healthy, I can't train him. So he's got to be healthy. He's got to be in good shape, and Kinetic dog food does that for us. You know, from the police officers to the military guys, the police officers, they put their lives on the line every day just like the military guys do. It's just a different situation. But the dog handler goes in first, and we try to really imprint that into our civilian police officers. And they're a force multiplier. They're not going to save you. You still have to be a great cop, and you still have to know what the hell you're doing. But what the dogs have done, not just on the police side, on the catching bad guys, but our dogs have found Alzheimer's patients that would have died if the dog hadn't found them, because we couldn't find them with people. We had a baby walk away into a cornfield, winter. Without the dog, the baby had no chance. Those are very satisfying issues that we go through every day. On the military side, I've been to Iraq and Afghanistan 7 times. We train all the special forces, and what these guys go through and what these guys do, and what these dogs do to save their lives, it's beyond amazing. And some of the stories I can't talk about, but yes, it's people ask me why I'm not retired. Why the hell would I? I play with dogs for a living with some of the best dog people in the world.